All right, good afternoon, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Wednesday, July 5th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Great to see Grant and Yehuda still with us here. Don and Rogers just before. Michael, Warren, Leda, and all of us just joining us right now. Great sound, much better sound than before, probably. Little did I realize doing the morning meeting earlier today, stepping in for Fausto, that my good microphone wasn't even plugged in. I thought it was the whole time. I had crap audio the whole morning. Ugh, being the perfectionist I am, that definitely bugged me. But once I caught the issue, we are good to go. So great to see Leda, Yehuda, Grant, all of us just joining us live right now inside the Cyber Group room. All of us on social, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Well, if this IMPL wants to pop, it better get stepping because it just ended up popping just before. But this stock has been like a mental case all day, pretty much. Just choppy, sideways, provided little to no opportunity when you thought it would. And then all of a sudden, when you least expect it, this thing just popped. So, one of our traders before, I mean, hey, we get it, right? Just at first, especially without knowing how to catch some of these trades or know what to expect, when to trade these stocks, it could be frustrating missing it. And it's like, man, I know you're supposed to follow the money, but that's all I could do. I never seem to catch the money. You can only follow it. So meaning that it's hard to get in once the move has already happened, right? So first off, a trade like this, like at 2 o'clock, 2:10 Eastern time when it had popped, it's like one of the worst times of the day to actively be trading. Of course, a few of us are coming back or have been here prepping themselves up for the afternoon, but I didn't notice this pop until much after the fact. Ended up popping up towards 2, pulled back. Now, Rich had called it out at the time. I got back to my own desk a little late there. But just like we talk about in Traders Talk, just like we talk about in class, coaching, just the more that you're with us, you tend to anticipate, all right, damn, this thing popped up without me. All right, well, it broke above resistance that we were talking about in Traders Talk. So that's at 175, right? All right, so what did they say again? When a stock breaks above resistance and resistance should become. So here we are. Support held. Is this going to pop higher? Is this going to make the big push that you'd want to see? As long as you set a tight stop, that was a viable trade to take from 180, 177-ish. It didn't touch 75, granted, but for as choppy as it was across the whole morning into now, it was really like the recent highs that were holding pretty nicely. Generally speaking, like 177-ish, 180-ish. So in the chat board, that's where I wrote like 75-80. And for the time being, we're going to put this on our watch list in hopes of this making the push closer to 2 again. But, hey, like I told my student earlier, I wrote to a couple of us in private chat just before. If this fails to pop from here, if it pulls right back down, if it breaks below 175, this thing is screwed. So, it looks good now. As of right now, there is a great chance for this to run higher. In the event where this pulls back down to 175, I think run for the hills. So makes the list for right now. We'll check back in with this trade just at the end of it all, even once we finish going through from top to bottom. All right, now really quick before we go from top to bottom, just again, if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, etc., or if you had missed Traders Talk earlier and you're a member of Cyber Group, the recording should be posted on the student dashboard by this afternoon. So with that, just for any of us that are not inside our live trading room, if you wanted to join us, just go right down to the link on the bottom of the screen below in green. Otherwise, though, you could just go right to that QR code on social media. Just scan that with your phone. You can get access to our live trading room, including the workshop we conducted earlier this morning. That'll be via recording. So with that, we'll have a couple of clips posted on our YouTube channel over the next day or so on top. But let's see what else we can get here. IMPL makes the cut for right now. We'll see if it ends up cutting through 175 there in a moment. ALLR, this thing had a crazy pop earlier. I didn't notice this literally until right now. Actually, really quickly, I want to check the chat board, Cyber Group, see if this was called out even once today. You search ALLR in the search tab inside the chat board. No one, myself, Rich, a student, no one called this pop out. Thankfully, because it ended up popping, but it had pulled right back down after. It dumped lower. It's making the second win type of move now. So, more of a gamble stock, if anything. I'll write this down for the side list, but I think that this is going to be a lower high and a pullback coming up shortly. So not really too sold. FRGT freight. This looks pretty interesting, a little slow, but inexpensive. It's at the highs, back-to-back days where it's ran too. So really, this stock is up nearly 100% since the beginning of this week, actually. I mean, hey, given how much it had dropped off from the last year plus prior, there could be more room to see this recover and squeeze. I doubt this was a $7,000 equity back in 2018. Probably a bunch of reverse stock splits this company has seen, but that makes it all the more interesting. Actually, it has a great spread, has good liquidity. Spread actually for a dollar stock could be more consistently tight, around a penny. So it's just like a couple of cents a moment ago, maybe even 3 cents. So be careful on the spread, but you do have good orders out there. And if more eyes catch on to this trade heading into the next 75 to 80 minutes of our afternoon, I would imagine for the spread to tighten up a lot more. So that would be good. All right, we keep it going. We keep it moving, though. LPTH, Light Path, popped up earlier, just really flat, though, for the time being. Pass on it for now. BTAI, definitely not flat. I mean, rangy, yeah, sideways, yeah, but not flat. This stock just bounced up about 20 cents from like 30 cents or so, from 950-ish, 955, now back up to 980. Probably more of a level 3 to level 4 stock in terms of volatility. It's a gap fill on top, so that does pique my interest, and I'll add it for the time being. We are familiar with the AI companies, mainly PLTR and C3. So AI actually here up over 5.5% right now. It's still holding strong. So I could slip this on our main list. I'll definitely write this one down for the side. I'll come back to this one at the end here too. But BTAI in particular, BTAI. And I don't even know if this is an I. You'd figure with AI at the end there that it should be an AI company. But now that you look at the name, BioXcel Therapeutics. All right, we don't have class this afternoon. I got a little tiny amount of time here to do a little digging. Let's go on Benzinga Pro and check it out. What was that, BTAI? July 3rd. H.C. Wainwright maintains buy. No real specific news of late on this company. Let's just see. This word's above my pay grade. Yeah, so they are AI. There you go. In the top part here, it is focused on drug development, utilizing novel artificial intelligence to identify the next wave of medicines across neuroscience, blah, blah, blah. So, hey, maybe there was some former headline that came out from the end of last week, dead cat bounce opportunity, perhaps, which, of course, you see on the daily chart here. Not only is it a dead cat bounce, but it is a potential gap to fill. So interesting trade, at least for right now. We'll put this on our list. TMC we had on our list from earlier. Nice little move. Got a little choppy later on, but then broke higher and, well, from that point fell flat. Topped off just at like 255, pulled back down. NLSP, it's up a little bit, but we'll come back to it if we need to. Quadruple C, not much happening there. AAOI. All right, well, I'll tell you what, folks, we technically still are the day after 4th of July. So on this type of day, it's a pretty lackluster late morning, early afternoon. So if there is a stock that just pops up on our radar all of a sudden, it could be a great trade. Otherwise, unless if it's just right at the highs and showing good volume, Weight Watchers for right now, it doesn't look terrible, holding up near the highs. I wish that started trading a little bit more volume coming into the next few minutes here, but yeah, this one doesn't look too bad. We'll put this back on our watch list, seeing if this could get back up towards 8, make the pop up higher perhaps. Looks like the stock had a tough time at like 809, 810 as well back from mid-May. Nice top there. So even if it does break above 8, I'd say that 809, 810 it should be pretty strong. Tito's, not much happening there. There's definitely a lot more that's up that proverbial 5% that we ask, just here at the end. So if there's anything else, folks, that looks good, type it in early. Let me know now. Just clicking away here. At this point, AI, we've gone through the gainers list pretty much in full at this point. I'm going to promote AI to our main list in hopes of that getting back up closer towards 40 for another pop. If not today, then maybe tomorrow. We'll check in. All right, so that's just about it from the gainer side. That's really all I see that looks good. So if there's anything else that looks good up, 5% or more, type it in. Let me know. I'm gonna hop over to the loser side here though first, seeing if there's anything looking just as good. AXTI. Technically, the stock is shortable, but trading low volume per minute, I feel like this move is pretty much exhausted now. BWA, nice drop actually just before. Order book, you got a good spread for right now. Thin liquidity, but good spread. I'll come back to it if I need to. What is this? Borg Warner. Not familiar. So BWA, I'll put on our side list. If we need to call it out later on, then we will. But for right now, I like that IMPL more first, the AI trade more, even that WW. I mean, really, there's actually a bunch of stuff that's easy to borrow in TradeStation today. Look at this whole litany of different stocks that are easy to borrow. I'm just trying to delicately kind of look at this, see if there's anything on the radar here that looks of note, familiar name. Market really hasn't gone anywhere since the morning. So, that was something we talked about earlier. With that in mind, not a whole lot that stands out on the loser side for right now. The crypto stocks made a nice recovery with the market at the open, like Mara and Coinbase. So, right now, those are kind of just lumping off right now, kind of flat or sideways. Grant says freight at 113 from earlier, so that one's already on our list. Roger saying CCL, Carnival, slow but broke 1930. Yeah, it's a good side list stock. I mean, hey, it's up 2%, but it's pushing pretty nicely, and that's what you'd want to. What happened here on the SPY, folks? What just happened? Got a nice retracement right back on up, actually. So is there anything happening right now, real time, live? What do we got? Is this the minutes meeting right now? Fed minutes show descent on the board. But yeah, but that should have been 2 o'clock, no? Not 2:30 as much. Unless if there's other headlines that are coming out right now, just real time. But nice recovery on the SPY going into this afternoon. That looks pretty strong. That definitely helps the cause for CCL. Good side list stock as always. Check out Palantir, PLTR, another side list. It's, not up much, but at the highs. Carvana, you could say the same thing on right there too. Up, not that 5+%, but it's trying right now. So those are all good side list stocks that you can consider. Not going to put any of them on the main list, but they're all tradable. If you do well on any of those trades, day to day, week to week, you know who you are. Simple as that. All right, folks, really quick before we wrap up right now, let me know if there's anything else looking good. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. We're going to check in on a couple of the different side list stocks that we have here just before we finish up. AI is already on there, already on the main list. At BWA, hey, actually, since we last looked at it, it's starting to pull back down just a little bit more. Not only do we like stocks that are up and at the highs heading into this time of the day, but we like stocks that are down big at the lows heading into this time of the day. So this move down right now is actually selling me on putting this Born Warner on our watch list, BWA. Nice good spread, if anything. That's the selling point, if anything. Good spread, thin liquidity, but really, since we've been watching the stock the whole time, the spread's been tight. Makes it tradable. So I like that. IMUX from Levitan, definitely good call. I mean, this just started to pop up a little bit more now, but it was already up percentage-wise, heading into this meeting. And as we were going from top to bottom, this is going from bottom to top. So yeah, good call out here, Levitan. IMUX. Oosh, big shake. That's not Levitan's fault though. Let's see if this can make a nice pop back up here. I mean, the VWAP's at 275. You'd rather not see it pull back that far. If anything, right from here, it needs to sling back on up, but we'll keep it on our list, though. Definitely a stock of note. Let's see if there's anything else here that looks good before we wrap up here, before we finish up. Sam's filling me in on BWA. 40 years ago, Born Warner made a high-end stereo equipment, not current on them since then. Okay, I'll take a look. It's always, for the curious mind, fun to know. All right, so really, if anything, it was the LPTH, it was the ALLR, and that's it. ALLR is not doing it here, folks. We're going to wrap up. We're going to finish up on this trade and finish up all together. So in total, we got 2, 4, 6, 7 stocks to work with here, folks, going into the market close. You know the deal at this point. And if you don't, perhaps you're a new member joining us, welcome aboard. We start and stick with this watch list at first. Then once Rich is on the mic at like 3 o'clock, if nothing from this watch list is presenting a good opportunity, Then we'll look to see if there's anything else looking good. Otherwise, we'll rescan the market at that point and see if there's a nice runner to work with. Yehuda saying Rivian coming to resistance. This is done on the day here. Yehuda, I mean, this was so flat from earlier today. If the markets really explode, there's a chance for this to possibly go up to 2050. But just like we talked about earlier, we want to find a stock that's at the highs if it's up big, or at the lows if it's down big. That's all we're doing right now at this point, folks. All right. So again, start and stick with this watch list. Rich will be on the mic at 3 o'clock. I'll be in the chat board up until 3:30. Let's try and make some money together going into the market close. Best of luck trading heading into the close, everyone. And for all of us on social media, if you have any questions before joining us inside our live trading room, feel free to shoot me over a quick email, josh@c2trading.com. You should have Fausto back tomorrow morning. He'll be back in his normal seat for the morning meeting. But any questions that you'd like to send over, feel free to do so, josh@c2trading.com. Always like to post my email here at the end of these streams. Talk to you all soon.